pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, good evening. Today is Tuesday, September 10th, 2024. The time being 5:30 p.m. The meeting of the Greensburg Board of Works is called to order. Amy, we need to do a slight amendment to the agenda. Is that correct?
That is correct. We need to discuss a personnel change, and I would like to add that to the beginning of new business along with the other topic that Julie Navi is going to discuss. It is for Deanna Denny.
Is there a motion to amend the agenda? Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. Amy, will you please call the roll?
Jamie Kane. Lauren Huber.
Here.
Robin Meyer.
Here.
Glenn Teddy. And Mayor Joshua Marsh.
Here. You all should have received a copy of the minutes for the August 13th and the September 4th. If there are no edits, additions, or corrections, those will stand as presented. Okay, our one item of old business is the wastewater generator contract for maintenance. That was talked about last month as well. Our wastewater team did get together another quote. They reviewed them as comparables. The pricing did come back pretty comparable, but the one that we had considered last month with Cummins is their choice, and it is also the lower amount. And it is for 3 years, and they have advised me that it meets all of the requirements that they would like to see.
We'll proceed with the Cummins agreement.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made by Robin, second by Lauren. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, perfect, thank you. Julie Navi, our Personnel Administrator, has 2 topics for us. Which one do you want to do first?
Well, I didn't know about the Deanna Denny one, but I know what we're going to talk about. It's about moving Deanna Denny to full-time versus part-time. With the police department, or fire department and the street department, she's going to start cleaning more over at both of those.
The street department, yeah.
Just the street?
Yeah, and really I just put it under yours just so that you could answer any questions should any arise. They have a memo in front of them. Basically, I just wanted this in the minutes that for the rest of this year, for this fiscal year, we have enough in her current line item for a little while, and then when that runs out as she goes to full-time, instead of moving money from place to place, I just want approval that we will switch to within our system to a different line item of paying her from, and it's on there where else we would pay her from. And that way we don't have to move the money. It's just going to be a switch within the payroll system. And then next year, Mayor Marsh has it budgeted for her to be full-time. I don't know if there needs to be a motion or just a general consent that I can.
To approve.
There we go. Is that safe?
Second.
Motion been made second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, perfect, thank you. Now you want to talk about lateral hires?
Yeah, we've been working on a lateral hire policy. I've worked with a couple of the department heads and our handbook committee to come up with the wording for that and what they thought was appropriate as far as giving them longevity pay and PTO as a new hire. Something to keep in mind, our current policy, when we hire somebody, they cannot take any PTO for the first 6 months. They earn it for the first 6 months, but they cannot take any. So sometimes when you bring on a new employee, that's very difficult for them to not be able to take any time off, especially if you're trying to attract somebody that has 5 years experience. We recently sent 3 police officers to the police academy, and they all come back with either a ton of overtime or comp time for that 3 months. I think all 3 of them came back with maybe 140 hours of comp time. So we've got a big expense in training just a new hire, sending them to the academy, but if we can maybe attract some people with 2, 3, 5, 10 years experience, I think this might help do that. And And this policy does apply to all departments, not just the police department. I was using the police department as an example.
What process did you use to go through to develop this?
The police chief actually came to probably the mayor, and then I started looking over it. He had numbers at a different level, and then we kind of proposed something a little lower, talked to the handbook committee about it last week, and then we kind of shifted the numbers. So it's been through a couple different processes to finally come up with this.
What other communities around, are they similar, or people starting to do this?
I don't know, that police chief might know
Just
a
curious.
little bit more about that.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. Good question. We've looked over past few years over salary, kind of our own salary study stuff. It kind of falls right in the middle. Some are doing a little bit less than that. Some are doing a whole lot more than that. So we felt like this was a really safe set of numbers that still valued our seasoned officers that are here, didn't undervalue them by giving somebody coming in way more. So we just kind of felt like it was a safe number. It's probably a little bit, just very small on the lower side, but it's right in there.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Did you guys have any questions about it? Basically what it's saying is the most any new hire can get is up to 10% of longevity, and that's if the salary ordinance gets approved the way we have it written. Currently, employees get 1% a year for longevity, and the new salary ordinance is proposing 2%.
So they'll be able to access their paid time off upon hire then?
Yeah, where that's one of the other changes to the handbook is we're proposing that we no longer have that 6-month requirement for PTO, that they would be able to use PTO as soon as they earn it, or here, they would be able to use that. And it's still with department head approval. And then each one of these lateral new hires would have to go in front of the Board of Works for their approval, and they would actually determine what amount would be approved.
Is there a policy in place where if someone offers their notice to resign, that they're not able to use paid time off?
No.
Okay.
No, it's all with department head approval. One of the things we're gonna put in place is you cannot be paid out for PTO within the first year now if you leave before your year anniversary. That's assuming that the new handbook changes take effect. So I think that helps with this, you know.
Okay.
I don't either, so they can walk in basically and get 40 hours.
Yes, they would start with 40 hours.
Up to, depending on board approval, right?
Yeah,
So you start with
depending on
40.
Board of Works approval. You know, we've got in here that it would have to be before the offer is given. And then it either would have to be in meeting minutes or on a signed paper that you guys have approved X number of hours or longevity.
Okay.
This runs in tandem with our 2025 budget, so it doesn't apply until January 1st.
Yes, I would say this would be effective January 1st, assuming that everything goes through with the salary ordinance and some handbook changes that we have planned for next year.
And the board can approve this, but it really is up to the council whether they would fund it through the salary ordinance. So the council still weighs in on this. This is just the first step in the process.
Yeah.
I'll approve it.
Motion, is that a motion?
Yes, I motion to
Motion to
approve.
approve the policy change.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. Thanks, Julie. I know you've been working really hard on that with our team, so thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Chief Sturmer, you've got a conditional offer.
Good evening, Board. As we met last week for new hire interviews, I bring to you to offer 2 conditional offers. The first conditional offer would be an immediate hire of candidate number 1. The second conditional offer would be for a pending hire of candidate number 4, and that would be dependent on another employee who has tendered his resignation, completing that resignation and vacating that spot. But it would be then an immediate hire at that point.
We want one motion here or two?
I think one's fine. I think one's fine.
That's fine. I'll move we approve candidate 1 and also candidate 4, so long as the separation of the other employee carries out.
Seconded.
Which has been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you for your work on that. I know you
You
guys spent
bet.
a lot of time on it.
Absolutely appreciate it.
Zach, you've got a couple items for us. The first one's an update on Franklin Street.
Good evening, Board. I'm sure you've noticed Franklin Street has been opened. Been open for a few weeks now. So far, everything has gone well. We did get the lights activated right before Labor Day weekend. So that is complete also. There are a few finishing touches left, such as finishing up some of the electrical on the top of the light poles for holiday lights. Still need to install the banner arms and stuff like that. The ped button over at the intersection, and then the alleyway is pending completion once we get the pole removed in the middle of the alleyway. But everything else is done, and hopefully you all are happy with it. I think we've gotten positive remarks back on the project as a whole.
Looks great.
Thanks for all your work on that. You and the team did a great job. Okay, now over to the Washington Street side.
Washington Street, what you have in your packet is a relocation plan for the existing electrical services on the north side of Washington Street. The current lines are in conflict with the new light poles, so they need to be relocated. This is something that should have been caught in the original complete plans and bid, but got missed. So we now have a separate agreement with Duke to proceed with this work to relocate the existing electric utilities on the north side of Washington Street, so they will not conflict with the light poles. And then part of that also on Montfort, there is one single light pole that's fed on that side, and that will eliminate that electric feed also because it's no longer needed since we're installing our own streetlights.
There's not a lot of choice in this one, huh?
Gotta get moved one way or the other.
As Zach mentioned, it is something that should have probably gotten caught in the original plans. It was not, this would not have been eligible for CCMG matching money anyway, so it didn't cost us anything outside of just a little bit of time in a separate agreement. Is there a motion to approve the agreement with Duke Energy?
I'll motion to approve the
Second.
agreement.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Perfect. Thanks.
One point of clarification, I guess we don't have an actual agreement yet with Duke Energy. This is their proposal. We accept it and get the agreement, but as long as everybody's good with that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tree Commissioner Klostercamper.
Good evening. A couple months ago, the city consolidated our 811 requests that people make whenever they want underground utilities located. What we added the street lights that we seem to be gaining more and more of as our projects continue to develop, and also our traffic signals that we have that are under our jurisdiction. We have never had any equipment to do such locations. So I talked to several vendors. I talked to Mr. Denny down at the water company. He recommended the unit he bought. I spoke to his vendor. It's the exact same unit. It has a little more capability than some of the others. The sewer plant would like to be able to utilize it at some time when they need it. So I'm asking your permission to go ahead for the purchase of the TX10 transmitter and the RD7200 locator with CNS Solutions, and you should have the quote in front of you.
I'll move we approve the purchase of the underground locator.
Seconded.
Which has been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed.
Okay, the second one's a little bit heavier investment. We tend to run our garbage trucks a little beyond their estimated life expectancy of 7 to 8 years. And we've got one that's lived its better part of, I think, 9.5. I've gathered some input from Councilman Carmen. He works the best way and gave us some insights as far as the options we had. We are looking at the only cabin chassis that we can get a 53,000 pound rating on, which is about what our gross weight will be with the proposed high compaction unit we're going to place on the back of it. We did not have bids. I think Mr. Stephen can recognize we have used Sourcewell before, who's a national bidding organization. Therefore, when they've negotiated a price with the vendors, every LPA throughout the country is allowed to use those as acceptable and meet code. And this is not spent out of 2024 money. This will be in the 2025 budget. I'm going to council later to hopefully get approval, but I would like to have the approval to go ahead with the purchase of the Western Star chassis with the PAC-MAC brutal high compaction body for $232,721.
Less truck and the box on the back. Both.
That's complete.
Okay. Have you had a Western Star before?
No, we've not.
No.
But it's got the capability of a heavier load than any other chassis we can find. And like I said, when I talked to Mark, he said, I don't blame him. He said, I'd buy it too. So we went through the specs together. He stopped by and we spent a couple hours one evening go through the entire packet.
So this has got to come out of an approved budget for 25.
Correct. And we've been saving a little bit every year since we bought the last one, so we have cash on hand within the fund. I looked at last year's annual report at the end of the year, and there's actually enough cash carryover from one year to the next to pay for this one and the other one will probably be replaced at the end of next year.
How many you have? Two?
2. I had 3.
Three.
The third one's a used one that we bought that we used limited time. It runs on heavy trash week, it runs on double trash routes, and we also use it for collection of a lot of bag leaves in the fall. And when this one we're replacing breaks down all the time, we're using it for that also.
Part of your request for this is due to the lead time, so if we can go ahead and get it ordered with council's blessing in our next meeting tonight, then that'll allow us to accelerate the delivery time.
Probably in March is what we're looking at.
So if you're replacing a truck, what do we do with the old truck?
If you'll notice, there's a trade-in allowance on the fourth line of the proposal for $20,000.
20,000, okay. I'll move we approve the purchase of the compactor truck.
And I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Those opposed, perfect, thanks. Okay, a couple items from the wastewater division as well. The lift station that is on South 421 is the last lift station in our system that requires manual entry into it for repair and pump maintenance. It's been discussed about replacing that and upgrading it to the new style. So you have a quote in here from the company that does that work for us. I've spoken with Donna about it being in the budget for the year, the financials for the year. It's a little less than 26,000, and our crews would appreciate that improvement to be made. This quote is actually back from May, but I believe it still is good when I had asked them about that.
I don't have any questions.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the agreement or the quote?
My motion to approve the agreement.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, perfect, thank you very much. Another item that I would like to look at is, as Mark mentioned and Zach too, about our lighting downtown. On the inside of the square, there are the snowflakes that Main Street Greensburg manages. They work with the REMC to hang them, but they are a little abrasive on the poles, and so with our new lighting, we'd like to move away to something a little more built for that purpose. The company has reviewed the cut sheets of the lights that we have and have agreed that these will work. So I'm asking that we purchase, they're a different design, representative of Main Street, and kind of brought this forth with some riverboat funds to update the snowflakes, and I think the process will remain in place. I don't know that anyone's really fully aware of who actually owns the snowflakes or where they came from originally, but Maddox Auction stores them for Main Street and the community at free of charge all the time for that. So I think this is great. These are a little bit smaller, sort of. They look kind of like a ribbon. I think there was a packet in your packet, and they will fit on our poles a little better without damaging them. And there are 16, including of the Washington Street side. When Washington Street's down, there are 16 poles on the inside. The proposal's to work 17 in case one breaks or we have an issue or something like that.
And the funds are budgeted from the riverboat fund.
Yep, we have riverboat dollars available this year and in the budget, and I think it would be a good use of those dollars.
Those dollars we have to spend this year?
They do not have to be spent annually. We budget them every year, and when projects sort of like this come up, or at the end of the year, we move it into a savings fund somewhere. Any further questions? Is there a motion to approve that as presented?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, perfect. Thank you very much. The reminder that the next meeting in October is on Wednesday the 2nd. It is early in the month, so Amy's office will probably be getting you claims and things at the very last minute, so just be aware of that as we are near the 1st. And with that, take a motion to approve the claims as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Anything else?
Invite everybody to the Fall Festival, the 20th, 21st, and you should probably come Friday evening to listen to the national anthem. Right?
Who's singing the national anthem?
It's not Lauren.
And it's not me.
It's not the mayor.
It's definitely Chris.
It's Chris.
Not Chris.
That'll be great.
Amy.
Amy will be
Congratulations.
singing for us, so think of that. Thank you.
This Saturday is the open house out at the campus. 10 o'clock doors will open. First event's at 11 with the street department, 11:45 with the fire. Everyone is welcome to attend and would encourage you to do so. Anything else? If not, take a motion to adjourn.
I motion to adjourn.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, we are adjourned. Thank you.